Have you ever wondered how political movements shape our world? From ancient uprisings to digital revolutions, political activism has evolved in fascinating ways. Did you know the Haitian Revolution was the only successful slave revolt in history? Or that the Arab Spring protests were organized largely through social media, leading to the fall of several regimes? In this video, we'll explore the evolution of political movements. We'll uncover the secrets behind historical uprisings, dive into the digital age of activism, and see how grassroots powerhouses and young voices are driving change. You'll discover how global movements inspire each other and get a glimpse into the future of activism with cutting-edge technology. Stay tuned to learn how simple strategies, powerful unity, and innovative tools are shaping the fight for justice. Get ready for surprising facts, inspiring stories, and practical tips on understanding and engaging in politics. Let's embark on this journey through the evolution of political movements together. Chapter 1: Roots of Revolt, Understanding Historical Uprisings. Political movements have deep roots in history. Understanding these roots can help us grasp modern movements better. One striking example is the Haitian Revolution of 1791. Did you know it was the only successful slave revolt in history? This revolt not only ended slavery in Haiti but also influenced abolitionist movements worldwide. Strategies in historical uprisings were often simple yet powerful. For instance, in the American Revolution, pamphlets like Thomas Paine's Common Sense played a crucial role. Paine's pamphlets sold over 500,000 copies in just a few months. It turned ordinary colonists into passionate revolutionaries. His words were simple but effective: "These are the times that try men's souls." Another interesting case is the suffragette movement in the early 20th century. Women used unique tactics like hunger strikes to draw attention. Emmeline Pankhurst, a leading figure, once said, "Deeds, not words." Her actions inspired many, leading to women gaining the right to vote in many countries. Historical movements also show the power of unity. The Indian independence movement, led by Mahatma Gandhi, used non-violent resistance. Gandhi's Salt March in 1930 was a turning point. It started with 78 followers but ended with thousands joining in. Gandhi's strategy of non-violence was clear: first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. In the civil rights movement in the United States, Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech is legendary. Delivered in 1963, it attracted over 250,000 people. King's strategy was to appeal to the nation's conscience through peaceful protests. His quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," still resonates today. These historical movements teach us that effective strategies often include strong messaging, unity, and sometimes, a bit of creativity. They remind us that change is possible when people come together with a common purpose. Chapter 2: Digital Dynamos, The Rise of Online Activism. Fast forward to today, and you'll see that political movements have gone digital. The rise of online activism is changing the game. Social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are now battlegrounds for political ideas. One of the most notable examples is the Arab Spring in 2011. Social media was a crucial tool in organizing protests across the Middle East. According to a study by the University of Washington, nearly 90% of Egyptians and Tunisians used Facebook to plan and spread awareness about protests. This digital strategy helped topple regimes and inspired global movements. Online activism also allows for rapid response. During the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020, hashtags like #BlackLivesMatter and #JusticeForGeorge Floyd spread like wildfire. Within hours, millions of people were informed and mobilized. A study found that tweets using the #BlackLivesMatter were shared over 50 million times in just a few weeks. Unique strategies in digital activism include viral challenges. Remember the Ice Bucket Challenge? It wasn't just fun, it raised over $115 million for ALS research. This shows how combining activism with engaging content can have a huge impact. Crowdfunding is another powerful digital tool. Movements now use platforms like GoFundMe to raise funds quickly. For instance, the Women's March in 2017 raised over $2 million online. This allowed organizers to cover costs and reach a wider audience. Moreover, digital activism often uses data to drive change. The climate movement, led by groups like Extinction Rebellion, uses scientific data to back their claims. They share charts, graphs, and infographics to educate the public. This strategy of using hard facts makes their case stronger. Online petitions are another effective tactic. Websites like change.org allow anyone to start a petition. One notable success was the campaign to stop the UK government from using facial recognition technology. The petition gathered over 200,000 signatures and led to a review of the policy. Digital activism is all about leveraging technology for maximum impact. It's fast, far-reaching, and often creative. It shows us that in today's world, a tweet or a post can spark a movement and lead to real change. Chapter 3: Grassroots Powerhouses, the Strength of Community Organizing. Grassroots movements show the power of ordinary people coming together for a cause. They are often the backbone of social change. One famous example is the Montgomery bus boycott of 1955. This movement started with Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat. It led to a 381-day boycott of the bus system by African Americans in Montgomery, Alabama. The strategy here was simple yet effective: collective action. By walking instead of riding buses, the community hit the bus companies where it hurt, their profits. Martin Luther King Jr. emerged as a leader during this time, emphasizing nonviolent protest. His words, "We must use the weapon of love," guided the movement's strategy. Another inspiring grassroots campaign is the fight for LGBTQ+ rights. The Stonewall riots of 1969 were a turning point. These riots were spontaneous demonstrations by the LGBTQ+ community against police raids. They sparked the formation of numerous LGBTQ+ rights organizations. Today, pride marches around the world commemorate this pivotal moment. Community organizing often relies on local leadership. The environmental justice movement in the US is a great example. Local leaders in communities of color have fought against environmental racism for decades. In Flint, Michigan, residents like Leanne Walters exposed the city's water crisis. Their grassroots efforts led to national attention and action. Grassroots strategies also involve educating and mobilizing people. The fight for farm workers' rights, led by Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, used this approach. They organized boycotts and marches, educating the public about the poor working conditions. Their slogan, "Se puede, yes, we can," inspired many and became a rallying cry. Local campaigns can have global impacts. The fight to protect the Amazon rainforest involves indigenous communities using grassroots tactics. They organize protests and use social media to raise awareness. This local action draws international support and puts pressure on governments. Chapter 4: Youthquake, the Influence of Young Voices in Politics. Young people have always been at the forefront of political change. Their energy and passion bring new perspectives to movements. One standout example is the global climate strikes led by Greta Thunberg. Starting in 2018, Greta's school strike inspired millions of young people worldwide. By 2019, over 7.6 million people participated in climate strikes. Youth movements often use creative tactics. During the Hong Kong protests in 2019, young activists used laser pointers to confuse facial recognition cameras. They also organized through encrypted messaging apps to avoid detection. These strategies helped them stay ahead of the authorities. Another powerful youth movement is March for Our Lives. After the tragic Parkland school shooting in 2018, students organized massive protests for gun control. Their march in Washington, D.C. attracted over 800,000 participants. They used social media to amplify their message and organize events across the country. Young activists often bring fresh ideas to the table. Malala Yousafzai's campaign for girls' education is a prime example. After surviving a Taliban attack, she continued to advocate for education. Malala's approach combines storytelling with advocacy. Her quote, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world," highlights her strategy of emphasizing education's power. Youth-led movements also leverage technology effectively. The Sunrise Movement, which advocates for climate action in the US, uses social media and digital tools to mobilize supporters. They organize online training sessions and webinars to educate and engage young activists. Statistics show the power of youth engagement. According to a 2019 Pew Research Center study, 48% of Generation Z engaged in some form of political activism, whether it was attending a protest or supporting a cause online. This high level of involvement underscores the significant role young people play in political movements. Chapter 5: Global Echoes, Transnational Political Movements. Political movements often transcend borders, influencing and inspiring one another globally. The fight for civil rights in the United States in the 1960s had a significant impact on anti-apartheid movements in South Africa. Nelson Mandela was inspired by Martin Luther King Jr.'s strategies. Mandela once said, "We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians," showing how interconnected these struggles are. Transnational movements frequently share tactics and strategies. The Occupy Wall Street movement in 2011 sparked similar protests worldwide. The slogan, "We are the 99%, resonated with people fighting economic inequality in over 80 countries. These movements used social media to organize and share their message, creating a global conversation about financial reform. Environmental movements are another prime example. The Fridays for Future movement, started by Greta Thunberg, quickly became a global phenomenon. By 2019, students in over 150 countries participated in climate strikes. This global coordination highlights the power of a shared cause and digital communication. Solidarity across borders can amplify a movement's impact. The Women's March in 2017, initially planned in the US, saw sister marches in 81 countries. This global participation emphasized women's rights and gender equality as universal issues. The movement's success lay in its inclusivity and ability to connect women worldwide. Human rights organizations often collaborate internationally. Amnesty International, founded in 1961, operates in over 70 countries. Their strategy involves documenting human rights abuses and mobilizing global pressure on offending governments. This international approach helps hold perpetrators accountable and bring about change. Digital platforms play a crucial role in transnational activism. Hashtags like #MeToo have gone viral, transcending cultural and national boundaries. This movement, started by Tarana Burke, empowered women globally to speak out against sexual harassment and assault. The hashtag has been used millions of times, highlighting the widespread nature of the issue. Transnational movements also benefit from international legal frameworks. The International Criminal Court, ICC, established in 2002, prosecutes individuals for crimes like genocide and war crimes. Activists worldwide use the ICC as a tool to seek justice when national systems fail. Chapter 6: Innovative Agendas, the Future of Political Activism. The future of political activism is evolving rapidly, driven by innovation and new technologies. One emerging trend is the use of artificial intelligence, AI, and data analytics. Activists use these tools to analyze social trends, predict political outcomes, and craft effective strategies. For example, AI can identify patterns in social media conversations, helping movements tailor their messaging. Blockchain technology is another game changer. It's being used to ensure transparent and secure voting systems. This innovation could revolutionize how elections are conducted, reducing fraud and increasing trust in democratic processes. Some grassroots organizations are already experimenting with blockchain for secure online voting in internal elections. Augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, are opening new avenues for activism. These technologies can create immersive experiences, bringing distant issues closer to home. Imagine attending a virtual protest or walking through a simulated refugee camp. These experiences can evoke empathy and drive action more effectively than traditional media. The rise of decentralized movements is also noteworthy. Platforms like Discord and Telegram allow activists to organize without a central leadership. This makes movements more resilient to disruptions. During the Hong Kong protests, decentralized communication was key to staying coordinated and avoiding government crackdowns. Micro-donations through mobile apps are transforming fundraising. Apps like Venmo and Cash App make it easy for supporters to contribute small amounts. These micro-donations add up, providing significant funding for movements without relying on large donors. This democratizes funding and gives more people a stake in the cause. Crowdsourced data is another innovative strategy. Movements like Black Lives Matter use crowdsourced information to document police violence and other abuses. This data provides real-time evidence that can be used in advocacy and legal actions. It empowers ordinary people to contribute to the cause from their smartphones. Looking ahead, activists are also exploring space-based technologies. Projects like Starlink aim to provide global internet coverage, bypassing government censorship. This could enable free communication in authoritarian regimes, boosting the ability of dissidents to organize.